The night over the city looked calm, but the calm was a thin cover, like paint over rust far above the clouds. An alien listening post turned its cold dishes toward Earth. The crew was bored. They had watched this blue world for years. They called it noisy, messy, unimportant. Then the board lit up. A thin line of sound crawled across the screen, a repeating pulse, slow and old. The operator frowned and said in a flat voice, "We have a signal." His captain waved a hand like it was nothing, but the operator did not look away. The pulse was not random. It had shape, it had memory. It sounded like a heartbeat. The captain stepped closer and asked for the timestamp. The operator said it matched a pattern they had filed as myth, a tale told by older fleets about the last time Earth shook the stars. The captain almost laughed, but the laugh died in his throat. The pulse grew stronger, and the ship's lights dipped, a tiny drain like a whisper in the wire down on Earth. A university student named Ayan sat in a computer lab. He was alone, except for the humming machines and the flicker of an old ceiling fan. His project was simple in his mind: collect radio noise and look for anything that did not fit. He wanted to build something that felt big, something that felt brave. He typed and yawned and almost shut the system down. Then he saw the same thin line on his screen that the aliens saw, a pulse hiding in the noise. He leaned forward and said, "No way." He checked the clock, he checked the antenna status, he checked the weather, all normal. The pulse did not care what he checked. It kept beating, slow and patient, like it had all the time in the world. On the ocean floor, a small quake rolled across a trench. Fish scattered like silver rain in a buried chamber. A stone panel slid aside. Dust rose. The panel showed a symbol Ayan would not know, and the aliens had hoped never to see. It was a circle within a square, within a circle again. A simple shape that meant warning and home and war. The old machine in the chamber tasted the pulse like a tongue touches a name. It woke, not all at once, but like frost leaving a window, slow and certain. The alien captain ordered silence across the post. He sent a quiet message to his superiors and said he had nothing to report. He was lying. He did not want other fleets rushing in and making noise. The last time a signal like this moved, battles followed like crows. He told the operator to keep the line open, listen, record, and do not speak. The operator obeyed, but his fingers shook. He had a small charm tied under the console, a string his grandmother said would protect him if old things woke. He touched it now without thinking. Ayan called his professor. The call went to voicemail. He called a friend in the physics department. The friend laughed and said he was chasing ghost stories. Ayan looked at the clock again. The pulse climbed. His software drew the wave as if it was breathing. He whispered, "If this is a prank, it is a good one." He saved the data and started a second capture with a backup antenna. He did not want to lose it. He did not want to be the guy who saw the edge of a door and never opened it. In the buried chamber, the machine pushed power into a switch that had not moved in 1,000 years. A map bloomed on the stone, not a picture but a feeling. Oceans and mountains like muscles and bones. The machine did not question. It was born for a single choice. It listened for a password that was not a word, but a rhythm. The pulse matched the rhythm. The machine accepted the key, as if a hand touched an old friend. It sent a tiny spark upward, a single thread through stone, soil, and water. The thread found other sleeping parts. Old circuits blinked, old doors trembled. The alien operator flinched as the post's dish began to track without a command. It tilted toward a point off the coast. The captain slammed a hand on the override. The dish kept moving. The ship itself drifted. The captain cursed softly and ordered a hard reboot. The lights dipped again. The pulse did not slow, he said. "Shut it down." But the operator said the dish had entered a protected mode. A mode locked by an authority older than their software. The captain asked for a manual solution, but the operator only swallowed and said that if they broke the dish, the post would send a distress tag with the same rhythm, and other listeners might come. The captain stared at the blue planet and said, "We will not break it. We will learn it. Ayan's speakers made a soft click. He had not turned them on. He reached out, turned the volume up, and heard something that was not just a tone. It sounded like a voice through water, like a choir behind a wall. He typed a fast script to translate amplitude into simple notes. The room filled with a melody so simple it felt like a lullaby. He felt his eyes burn, not from fear, but from the sense that someone had waited a very long time to be heard. He said, "Who are you?" then laughed because he knew that was silly. The signal did not speak back in words, but the melody changed. It matched the rhythm of his heartbeat. Ayan pressed a hand to his chest and whispered, "You can hear me?" On the alien post, the operator matched the signal against old war logs. He found a report flagged with 10 warnings, a file said to be cursed. He opened it anyway. The first line read, "If you see the heartbeat of the world, do not speak its name." The second line read, "If you wake it, do not stand in its way." The operator felt cold. He told the captain that their ancestors had lost ships when they tried to jam the pulse. The pulse had turned their power back on them. The captain did not believe in curses, but he believed in patterns. He ordered the post to listen and ride the drift, not fight it. The machine under the ocean reached up through 1,000 vents and cables and birds and storms. It touched satellites without leaving a fingerprint. It tasted human networks and found fear, love, jokes, songs, and the gentle anger of dreams. It found Ayan, the one who had opened the door first. It liked his careful hands. It liked his fragile courage. It sent a different melody, higher and brighter. Ayan saw the new shape on his screen and felt his fear loosen its grip. He spoke softly to the empty lab. "I will not tell them to shut you up." For a breath, the pulse stopped. The alien operator gasped. He thought they had lost it. Then the boards blazed. The pulse returned with a second voice. 2 waves woven like fingers. The post's hull sang with it. Thin hairline cracks on the captain's view window flashed silver, then faded. The captain felt something he had refused for years. A feeling that the universe was older and more personal than a list of targets. He said almost to himself, "It has chosen." Ayan's phone buzzed. His professor had called back. Ayan spoke fast. The professor listened in silence and then said a single line. "Do not publish, not yet." Ayan braced for anger. But the professor's voice was soft. "You have found a guardian myth without the myth, if it is real. We must be careful how we wake the world." Ayan looked at the clock again and said he understood. He would keep the recording safe. He would keep the door open, but not shout into the dark. At dawn, fishermen out on the quiet water felt their boats lift, as if a giant tide had turned. No storm came, yet the sea breathed deep and slow. Birds wheeled in a perfect circle and settled on the masts as if waiting. Far in orbit, other listening posts turned their dishes toward Earth. Curious or afraid, the first post sent no warning. The captain closed the cursed file and made a new one. He wrote, "The signal has returned." But this time, the first human to hear it spoke with respect. The melody did not burn us. It looked at us and then looked away. Perhaps it remembers who it is for. He saved the file and folded his hands. The operator finally stopped shaking. He looked at the charm under the desk and untied it. He slipped it into his pocket and felt lighter. In the lab, Ayan leaned back. The melody dropped to a whisper. The old fan turned. Outside the window, the first light of morning touched the city. Everything looked the same, but it was not. Somewhere under the ocean, an ancient protector had opened one eye. It did not rise, not yet. It listened and waited for the right word from the right hearts. Ayan closed his eyes and breathed with the rhythm on the screen. He did not know what would come next, but he knew one true thing. Earth was not alone, and it never had been. The morning sun touched the city, painting rooftops with gold, but beneath the surface, something restless moved. Ayan had barely slept. His computer lab was still humming with the strange pulse. The signal had shifted into a softer rhythm, almost like it was waiting for him. He rubbed his tired eyes and whispered, "You're still here." He hit record again, saving every note. Meanwhile, On the alien listening post far above Earth, the crew sat in tense silence. The captain had told them not to speak of what they saw. He did not want panic spreading through the fleets, but the operator leaned close to the screen and whispered anyway. "It is awake," the captain snapped. "Do not say that word." The operator froze, but the pulse grew stronger, making the hull groan like it was alive. On Earth, tremors rippled quietly under the mountains. Villages nearby felt cups rattle on wooden tables. A farmer looked at the ground and muttered, "Another quake," but this one felt different. Animals refused to move. Dogs howled at the sky. Birds scattered in wide circles. Old temples built long before modern history began to glow faintly. Symbols carved into stone walls flickered, as if fire was behind them. Ayan called his professor again. This time the man answered on the first ring. His voice was sharp. "You did not publish, did you?" Ayan shook his head. "No, I saved it. But the signal is growing." The professor sighed. "Good, then listen carefully. Do not share it, not yet. There are stories about something hidden under Earth. And if this is true, you may have touched the lock." Ayan swallowed. "What do you mean by lock?" The professor lowered his tone. "Every door opens two ways. If you opened it, something might step out deep in the ocean trench." The hidden machine stirred again. Stone cracked as an enormous chamber shifted. The glow inside burned brighter. A panel slid open, releasing a blast of air trapped for 1,000 years. The sound traveled like a whisper through the water. Fishermen near the coast felt their nets jerk. A boy pointed to the waves and shouted, "The sea is breathing," in orbit. The alien captain ordered the post's main dish shut down. He wanted silence, but the dish refused. The signal had taken command. The captain cursed. "It's inside the system." The operator's voice shook. "If we cut the power, it may send a warning pulse. It will tell the others we tried to stop it." The captain slammed his fist on the console. "Then what do you suggest?" The operator hesitated, then said, "We let it speak, Captain. Maybe it is not speaking to us at all." Back on Earth, Ayan opened his laptop again. The melody had changed. It was louder now, vibrating the air. His speakers shook. He clutched the desk and muttered, "This is not possible." Then the sound cut off. For one long moment the room fell silent. Ayan thought it had ended. He leaned closer, tapping the keys. "Come back," he whispered suddenly. The floor under him rumbled, his water bottle toppled over, and the lights flickered. The signal returned, but this time it carried a deeper note, like a voice buried under stone. The professor called again, his voice tight with fear. "Ayan, listen. If the signal has shifted, it means something is rising. You need to leave that lab." Ayan shook his head. "No, I need to understand it. It feels like it's calling me. It's not random. It's alive," the professor shouted. "That is exactly why you must be careful. You do not know what it wants." In the alien post, alarms screamed. A map appeared on their console without being commanded. It showed Earth glowing like a heart, lines of energy spread across the oceans and mountains. Converging on one point in the Pacific Trench, the captain gripped the chair arms. "That is no coincidence," the operator whispered. "That is where it sleeps." The quake under the ocean split rock apart. A tunnel opened, letting out a stream of glowing bubbles. They rose to the surface, burning like fire under the water. A ship passing above saw the glow and sent an emergency report. The crew thought a volcano had erupted. But this was no volcano. It was a heartbeat breaking free. Ayan stared at his screen in shock. The signal's waveforms now mirrored his own voice patterns. When he whispered, "Who are you?" the line trembled back in rhythm. His chest tightened. "You can hear me, can't you?" For a second, silence. Then the melody shifted again, slow, careful, almost kind. Ayan pressed a hand over his mouth, his eyes watered. He had never felt so small, yet so chosen. The professor's voice shook through the phone. "You are too close. Stop speaking to it." Ayan looked down, trembling. "What if it is not dangerous? What if it is here to protect us?" The professor's silence was long. Then he said, "That is worse, because if it protects us, it means something is coming. On the alien post, the captain finally broke his silence. If it rises, we must decide. Do we fight it, or do we run? The operator shook his head. Neither. If it is what the old logs warned us about, fighting it is suicide, running is useless. It does not guard Earth for humans alone. It guards against anyone who would harm it. The captain stared out at the small blue planet. His lips pressed tight. Then may the stars help us all. The pulse from Earth reached a peak. Satellites flickered. Power grids on the surface dipped and surged. People across the world felt their devices buzz with strange static. Radios filled with a faint hum. Airplanes reported instruments glitching. Some thought it was a solar storm, but Ayan knew better, he whispered. You are waking up. Out at sea, a fisherman's child pointed to the horizon. The water rose unnaturally in a perfect circle, glowing faintly in the morning light. The old men on the boat dropped their nets and made the sign of protection. One whispered, "The Guardian," another hissed back, "Do not say its name." In the lab, Ayan's computer screen showed a new symbol forming, a circle inside a square, inside a circle again. He remembered seeing the shape once, in a forgotten history book, but he could not recall the meaning. His chest pounded. He muttered, "It's the same symbol that woke the machine." The signal pulsed harder. The lab's glass cracked. He ducked under the desk. His heart raced, then just as suddenly, everything stopped. The pulse faded to a soft whisper. The light steadied, the ground grew still. Yan crawled out slowly, breathing hard. He looked at the screen. The symbol was gone, only silence remained, he whispered. Did I imagine it? But deep down he knew he had not, in orbit. The alien captain sat back in his chair. His crew waited for orders. He said softly, "It is not fully awake, but it has turned in its sleep." That alone was enough to shake the world. The operator nodded, his face pale. "And when it fully wakes—" The captain did not finish the thought. His silence said enough. Ayan sat in the lab, staring at the faint hum on his screen. He felt the weight of something vast beneath the earth. Waiting, patient, timeless, he did not know if it would rise as a savior or a storm. He only knew one truth. Humanity was no longer alone. Something ancient had stirred, and the world would never be the same. The world seemed calm on the surface, but deep inside the earth something old was moving. Yan could not pull himself away from the screen in his lab. The signal had gone quiet for hours. Yet his chest told him it was still there waiting, he muttered. "Why did you stop?" and pressed his fingers against the table. He felt foolish, speaking to static. But part of him knew he was not talking to noise. His professor called again, this time with urgency. "Ayan, listen carefully. Seismic stations across the globe are reporting strange tremors. They are shallow but strong. They come in a rhythm, almost like breathing." Ayan froze. "Breathing," the professor answered with a heavy sigh. "Yes, like something underground is alive. In the oceans, currents shifted in unnatural patterns. Whales changed their migration paths, swimming in wide circles as if they were trying to protect something. Fishermen in small boats saw the sea foam without wind. Nets broke, ropes snapped, and strange glowing fish leapt from the water as if fleeing from fire. The old stories whispered in villages came back. Stories about something buried beneath earth that only moved when danger was near. On the alien listening post, the operator's hands shook. "Captain, we have visual distortion. The planet is changing its magnetic field." The captain leaned forward, his jaw tight. "Explain." The operator pointed to the screen. "It looks like the field is bending, aligning with a source under the crust. It is not natural, Captain. It is being pulled." The captain swore under his breath. "So the myths were true." He ordered his crew to track every tremor. "If it rises, we must know before the others." Ayan ran to the library, digging through dusty shelves of forgotten books. He found an old volume his grandfather once mentioned. Inside were faded drawings of a giant figure shaped from stone, metal, and fire. The book called it the Protector, Ayan whispered. "It's real." He traced a finger over the page, where the figure stood between humans and shadows from the sky. The description said it would only awaken when Earth was threatened. Back in the lab, his computer came alive on its own. The pulse returned, louder, faster, and now it carried images for a moment. Ayan saw flashes of something massive, a body fused with rock, glowing veins running like rivers across its chest. His heart pounded. He whispered, "You're alive," in the alien post. Alarms screamed again. The operator shouted, "Captain!" Seismic spikes from the Pacific Trench. "Something is moving." The captain turned to the crew. "Get closer. We must see it ourselves." Their ship adjusted orbit, bringing them directly above the ocean. They saw lights under the waves, glowing lines that spread outward like a web. The operator's voice shook. "It's too large to measure." "Captain, whatever's down there, it dwarfs our ships." The captain stared in silence, his fear hidden behind hard eyes. On the surface, a family on a small island felt the ground split. They ran outside as the sand trembled under their feet. The father shouted, "To the boats!" But the sea itself was rising, not in a wave but in a steady lift. The children cried as the horizon glowed red. The mother gasped and whispered, "The Guardian!" The father pulled her arm and hissed, "Do not speak of it." Ayan called his professor again, his voice shaking. "It's waking up. I saw it. I saw part of it." The professor tried to steady him. "Listen to me, Ayan. You cannot control it if it is real. It will rise with or without you." Ayan pressed his hand to the desk. "But it knows I heard it. It answered me." "Why would it do that?" The professor paused, then whispered, "Because maybe it remembers who it was made for." Beneath the ocean trench, the chamber walls finally gave way. A massive hand of stone and metal pushed against the rock. The sea roared as if it were boiling. Pressure waves slammed through the water. Ships miles away felt their hulls groan. In the lab, Ayan's computer screen shattered from the energy spike. He stumbled back, eyes wide, as the pulse grew into a deafening roar. The alien operator cried out, "Captain, the ocean floor is breaking apart." The captain stood and gripped the console. His voice was steady, but his eyes were not. So the protector of Earth was not just a story. Outside their viewport, a shadow rose under the waves. Larger than mountains, its eyes burned like suns. Even while half buried beneath the sea on Earth, people across the world reported strange visions. Dreams of a giant rising. Children woke crying, saying they saw fire under the water. Pilots flying above the Pacific radioed in panic. There is something alive down there, but their voices were cut by static. In the lab, Ayan fell to his knees as the pulse became a voice, not in words but in pure sound. It echoed inside his chest. He gasped and whispered, "What do you want from me?" The sound steadied, then slowed, matching his heartbeat. He understood without language. It was not asking. It was promising, Ayan whispered. "You will fight for us." The professor heard the tremors from miles away. His bookshelves rattled. He gripped the phone and shouted into the receiver. "Ayan, listen to me. If it rises, humanity will never be the same. Governments will want to control it. Aliens will want to destroy it. You must be careful." Ayan's voice came faint and broken. "It already chose, Professor. It woke because it had to." Out at sea, the glowing shape broke the surface for just a moment. A wall of water crashed outward, drowning small boats. But the figure sank back down, as if hiding again. Only a flash of its burning eyes remained above the waves. Witnesses screamed, some prayed, some fainted. The alien captain gave his final order. "Send no report. If the others know too soon, war will begin. We must hold this secret." The operator looked at him in shock. "But Captain, this is bigger than us." The captain's eyes stayed on Earth. "Exactly. That is why we stay silent." As the tremors eased, the world returned to a false calm. Ayan sat in the wreck of his lab, broken glass around him. His hands still shook. But his heart no longer raced in fear. It raced with something else. "Hope," he whispered. "The protector is awake, and it is watching." He knew nothing would ever be the same again. Humanity had a guardian, and its enemies in the stars would soon learn that Earth was no longer helpless. The world had not yet calmed from the tremors. News channels looped shaky videos of glowing water and broken boats. Scientists argued on live broadcasts, some calling it an underwater volcano, others whispering about something alive. Governments denied everything. but fear was already growing. Ayan sat in the ruins of his lab, his computer cracked, his notes scattered across the floor. He whispered, "It was real." His hands shook as he picked up a torn page from the old book he had found in the library. The drawing of the giant protector stared back at him. His professor arrived late that night, rushing into the broken lab. He looked around at the shattered equipment and hissed, "What happened here?" Ayan met his eyes and said, "It woke up." The professor gripped his shoulder. "Don't say that out loud." Ayan pulled the old book from his bag and placed it on the desk. "It's in here, the same symbol, the same shape. This is not legend. It's history." The professor flipped the pages with trembling fingers. "These are myths written thousands of years ago." Ayan shook his head. "No, they are warnings. Humanity has seen it before, far above Earth." The alien listening post hung silent. The captain stared at the planet below. "They do not even know their own past," he muttered. The operator nodded slowly. "That is what frightens me most, Captain. They walk blind on a grave that holds power they do not understand." The captain's eyes narrowed. "And yet it chose to stir for them. That means it remembers." In villages across the world, old people began to speak of stories long buried. An elder in South America told children of a giant made of fire and stone, who rose from the mountains to chase away monsters from the sky. In Asia, monks in hidden temples opened scrolls they had not touched for centuries. Each scroll carried the same symbol, a circle in a square. In a circle again. In Africa, a desert tribe carved the mark into sand, whispering that the sleeper had turned. Ayan listened to the hum still faint in his broken speakers. He leaned close and whispered, "Why us? Why now?" The sound shifted, slow and steady. It was not words, but he felt it answer inside his bones. The professor frowned at him. "Stop treating it like a friend. You do not know what it wants." Ayan met his eyes. "I know this much. It has been here longer than any empire. Longer than us. If it wanted to destroy us, it would have done so already." Meanwhile, deep under the ocean trench, the protector's body shifted. It did not rise, but its core pulsed with light, sending lines of power through forgotten tunnels. Those tunnels touched hidden ruins across the globe. Monuments thought to be lifeless began to glow. Stone circles hummed, broken towers trembled. Ancient sites once dismissed as ritual places now beat in rhythm with the pulse. The alien operator studied the reports flooding their screen. "Captain, look, the energy is not random. It is waking the old human ruins. It's like they were built to connect with it." The captain leaned closer. "You're saying humans themselves built these connections?" The operator nodded slowly. "Or maybe their ancestors were taught to," the captain whispered. "Then humanity is not weak at all. They are the heirs of something greater. Back on Earth, Ayan and his professor drove out to an ancient stone site marked in the book. The night was heavy, the air thick with static. The stones stood in a wide circle, silent for centuries. Ayan placed his hand on one of the pillars, and it vibrated under his touch. He gasped. "It's alive," the professor whispered. "This is impossible." Suddenly, the ground lit with faint glowing lines, connecting each stone. The symbol appeared again, burning into the dirt. Ayan stepped back, his heart pounding. "It's showing us something." The glow formed into an image, a map of Earth long before continents split. At the center was the same mark, the home of the protector. Ayan's professor whispered, "This is history. This is what they never taught us. Humans were never alone." Ayan stared at the glowing Earth and whispered, "We are part of something old, and it has been waiting." On the alien post, the captain received a coded warning from another fleet. "Reports of human anomalies spreading. Do not interfere." The captain read it and deleted it without reply. He turned to his crew. "If the other fleets discover the truth, they will attack. They fear what humans are becoming." The operator looked uneasy. "And if they attack, Captain?" The captain's voice was low and steady. "Then the protector will rise fully, and none of us will leave alive." Back at the stone circle, the light suddenly dimmed. Ayan shouted, "Wait! Show us more." But the glow sank into the earth, leaving only the smell of burned dust. He dropped to his knees, breathing hard. The professor knelt beside him. It gave us enough. We cannot ask for more yet. Ayan shook his head. No, it was trying to tell us we are not ready. It is warning us. The next morning news spread across the world, not through official channels, but through whispers. Videos of glowing ruins leaked online. People across continents shared strange dreams of fire and stone. A woman in Egypt claimed she heard a voice in her sleep, telling her to guard her children. A man in Norway swore he saw the symbol carved into the ice. For the first time, humanity began to feel connected by fear and wonder. In the alien post, the operator muttered, "They do not know their own strength." The captain replied quietly, "They will learn, and when they do, the galaxy will tremble." Ayan returned to his shattered lab that evening. The hum in the speakers was still there, softer now, almost like a heartbeat at rest. He whispered into the silence, "We will not let you down." His words felt foolish, but in his chest he felt the faintest answer. Like a giant far below the earth had heard and approved. The professor stood at the doorway, watching him. "You are walking into something you cannot control." Ayan turned, his face pale but determined. "Maybe, but we don't have a choice. It chose us." The professor closed his eyes and muttered, "Then may it protect us when the stars come for blood." The night fell quiet. But across the oceans and deserts and mountains, the old ruins glowed faintly one last time before fading again. They were waiting. Humanity's past had returned, and its future would never again be ordinary. The ocean was restless. Its waves carried a rhythm that no storm could explain. Fishermen far out at sea felt their boats lift and fall like they were riding the heartbeat of a giant. In coastal towns, people woke in the night to the sound of windows rattling even though no wind blew. Deep beneath the Pacific Trench, the ancient protector stirred again. Its body of stone and metal shifted, cracking the seabed. A low roar echoed through the water, not a sound but a vibration that spread across the globe. Ayan sat in his lab. Staring at the broken monitors, his professor stood nearby, tense and silent. The hum in the speakers had grown louder than before. It pulsed in time with the tremors outside. Ayan whispered, "It's not hiding anymore. It wants us to know." The professor snapped, "Do you hear yourself? You speak as if it has a will. This is not a friend, Ayan. This is a weapon." Ayan's eyes burned with stubborn fire. "A weapon, maybe, but one made for us. It chose to wake now. It means danger is close." Far above Earth, the alien listening post tilted its dish toward the ocean. The operator swallowed hard. "Captain, the energy levels are rising beyond our calculations. If it breaks the surface..." The captain cut him off. "If it breaks the surface, the galaxy will know. And once the others see it, Earth will be swarmed." The operator's hands shook. "Should we warn the fleets?" The captain's eyes stayed cold on the blue planet. "No, let them learn too late." Out at sea, a cargo ship reported glowing columns shooting upward from the depths. The crew shouted in panic as water boiled around the hull. A massive hand made of stone and steel broke through the waves, grasping at the sky. Lightning struck the surface, though the sky was clear. The ship's captain fell to his knees and whispered, "Gods forgive us, it's alive." On the coast, crowds gathered as reports spread online. Live streams showed the sea turning into a glowing whirlpool. Children cried, adults stared in silence. A woman whispered, "This is the end." But an old man standing beside her shook his head. "No, this is the beginning. The Guardian has returned." Ayan and his professor rushed to the roof of the university. From there they could see the horizon glowing faintly red. The ocean lifted as if pushed by some unseen force. Ayan's breath caught. "It's rising." His professor grabbed his arm. "If the world sees this, panic will tear nations apart. Governments will fight over it, and aliens will strike at us. Do you understand the chaos you are asking for?" Ayan pulled free, eyes locked on the glowing horizon. "Chaos or not, we cannot stop it." The alien operator cried out, "Captain, look!" and pointed to the main screen. The protector's head breached the surface. Eyes like burning suns blazed through the mist. Its roar shook the orbiting ship, rattling every panel. The captain gripped the console, whispering to himself, "The myths were true." The operator's voice cracked. "It's not just alive, it's angry." But the Protector was not striking Earth. It turned its gaze upward, to the stars, as if sensing eyes watching from beyond. Slowly, it raised a colossal weapon fused into its arm, a blade of molten metal that shimmered even in the daylight. The weapon hummed, sending ripples through the atmosphere. Every human watching, whether by phone, by ship, or by eye, felt the same message. This was not a threat to them. It was a promise of defense. Ayan's phone buzzed with messages. Friends and strangers were asking if he saw it. Some called it a god, others a monster, the professor muttered. "This is worse than I imagined. Faith will clash with fear, and fear will invite war." Ayan shook his head. "No, look at it. It's not attacking us. It's warning whoever is coming. It knows we are in danger." The alien captain gave orders in a low voice. "Shut down all transmissions. If the fleets hear this roar, they will rush here, and war will come before the humans understand what they hold." The operator looked terrified. "And if the Protector sees us?" The captain's voice was steady. "Then we pray it does not see us as enemies." The sea boiled as the Protector rose higher, towering above waves like a mountain torn from the seabed. Its body dripped with water and fire, carved runes glowing across its chest. Its roar shook clouds into spirals. Birds fled in wild patterns, and storms began to form from nothing. People on the coast dropped to their knees, some crying, some worshipping, others simply staring in silence. Then, without warning, the Protector lowered its head. It stepped back into the ocean, vanishing beneath the waves. The whirlpool calmed, the sky cleared, and silence fell. But everyone knew this was no dream. They had seen it with their own eyes. Humanity could no longer pretend. Ayan turned to his professor. "Breathing hard, do you still think it's only a weapon?" The professor looked pale, shaken. "No, it is more than that. It is a message. The Earth itself just told the galaxy we are not defenseless." Ayan looked out at the horizon. His voice steady. "Then let them come. We are ready now." On the alien listening post, the operator whispered, "It went back to sleep." The captain shook his head slowly. "No, it did not sleep. It waits. And when the others arrive, they will learn what fear truly means." In the coastal villages, fishermen lit fires and prayed. Elders whispered that the old guardian had returned to stand with humankind once more. Across the internet, millions debated, some denying, others believing, but none could erase the truth of what had been seen. In the deep trench, the Protector stood still, silent once again, its burning eyes closed, but its weapons stayed ready. It had risen to remind the galaxy of its vow. Humanity would not stand alone. Not now. Not ever again. The sea had grown quiet after the rise of the Protector, but the silence was heavy. It was not peace. It was the calm before something greater. Across the world, people whispered about what they had seen. Some called it a god. Some called it a monster, but everyone knew the truth. Earth was no longer defenseless. Ayan sat in the ruins of his lab, staring at the faint hum still pulsing from his broken speakers. His professor stood by the door, pale and restless. "Do you understand what this means?" he asked. Ayan nodded slowly. "It means we are not alone. It means we have something that will fight for us." The professor shook his head. "No. It means the galaxy now has a reason to destroy us before the Protector can rise again." High above Earth, the alien listening post drifted in tense silence. The operator checked the long-range scans and spoke in a trembling voice. "Captain, we have movement at the edge of the system, multiple fleets, not ours." The captain's jaw tightened. "They heard the roar, didn't they?" The operator nodded. "Yes, Captain, they are coming to see if the legends are true." On Earth, governments scrambled, secret meetings filled with fear. Leaders shouted over one another. Some wanted to hide the truth. Others wanted to prepare armies. One general slammed his fist on the table. "If that thing belongs to us, then we must control it." A diplomat snapped back, "Control? You cannot control a mountain. You can only pray it does not crush you." The room fell into bitter silence. Ayan returned to the stone site with his professor, hoping for answers. The stones hummed again, glowing faintly under his touch. Ayan whispered, "Can you hear me? Are you awake?" For a moment, nothing. Then the earth trembled under his feet. The hum grew louder, steady and clear. His professor grabbed his arm. "It is answering you." Ayan's chest tightened. "It knows the fleets are coming." In the ocean trench, the protector opened its eyes again. The runes on its chest lit like rivers of fire. It did not rise fully, but its presence alone sent waves crashing against distant shores. Whales fled in great herds, schools of fish scattered like dust. The sea itself seemed to fear what was coming. The alien captain watched from orbit. "It senses the intruders," he said quietly. The operator stared at him. "Captain, if it rises again, the fleets will see it for certain. They will not hesitate. They will attack Earth." The captain shook his head. "No, they will not attack Earth first. They will test the protector. They will learn their mistake." Soon the sky above Earth burned with streaks of light. Dozens of alien ships entered the system, their weapons hot and ready. The people of Earth looked up at the night sky and gasped as strange stars moved where none should. News broadcasts broke into chaos. Unidentified fleets have entered orbit. Governments urge calm, but there was no calm. The truth had broken free. Ayan and his professor stood on the cliff near the sea, watching the horizon churn. The waves grew taller. Glowing faintly red, Ayan whispered, "It's coming." His professor gripped his shoulder. "Ayan, listen to me. If it fights, cities will burn. We may not survive its protection." Ayan shook his head. "It doesn't matter. We don't have a choice. The galaxy chose this fight, not us." The first alien fleet moved closer. Their leader gave the order. "Test the myth. Fire at the trench." Weapons lit the sky, streaks of light raining down into the ocean. Explosions shook the sea, boiling the surface. For a moment, silence. The aliens laughed. It was only a story. But then the water split apart. The protector rose, fire dripping from its chest, eyes blazing like suns. Its roar tore through the sky so loud that it rattled windows on Earth and made alien ships vibrate. The leader of the fleet shouted, "Fire again!" But this time, their weapons turned against them. Energy blasts twisted back, tearing through their own ships. Screams filled the comms before static silenced them. On Earth, crowds watched in awe as fire lit the horizon. Children clutched their parents. Some prayed, some cheered. But all knew something greater was fighting for them. The professor whispered, "It turned their weapons back. It is unstoppable." Ayan's eyes never left the horizon. "No. It is only the beginning," the alien captain on the listening post whispered. "They should have stayed away." His operator trembled. "Captain, should we leave before it notices us?" The captain shook his head. "If it wanted us gone, we would already be gone. Watch, learn. Remember this day." The protector swung its molten blade, tearing through the last of the intruding fleet. Ships fell like broken stars, crashing into the sea. Flames and ash mixed with the waves. Then, as quickly as it had risen, the protector stepped back into the ocean, sinking beneath the waves once more. Silence returned, but the silence was not comfort. It was warning. On Earth, the world was changed forever. No one could deny what had happened. Governments argued, religion stirred, scientists shouted, but the people had seen with their own eyes. Humanity was no longer weak, Ayan whispered. "You saved us?" His professor turned to him, his voice shaking. "No, Ayan. It warned the galaxy. Now they all know Earth is not helpless. They will not leave us alone." In the alien post, the captain wrote a final report. "The protector has risen. The fleets have fallen. Earth stands guarded. Let all who approach remember this." He closed the file and stared at the blue planet. Humanity has a weapon older than the stars. And now the galaxy knows. Beneath the ocean, the Protector stood still once again, its weapon lowered, its eyes closed. But its fire still burned in the dark, waiting, ready, watching the stars for the next threat. And on the surface, humanity felt something it had not felt in centuries, hope mixed with fear. The war had not yet begun, but the first battle had been won.